Okay, this is my audience for my informative speech.
You're going to record him. Okay.
In this speech, I'm going to inform the audience of the historical events that took place on September 11th, the persons responsible for the attacks, why the attacks occurred, and what the United States is now doing to prevent future attacks. We're going to find out who did this, and we're going after the bastards. That quote was said by Senator Warren just days after September 11th, 2001. September 11th was an attack on the Heartland, and according to CNN, September 11th Fast Facts, a total of 19 men hijacked 4 commercial airliners bound for West Coast destinations. At the World Trade Center site, approximately 2,753 people died when 2 planes intentionally crashed into both towers. The Pentagon in Washington, 184 people were killed when a plane crashed into the building. The last plane crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, killing 40 people. It is believed that the passengers and crew tried to retake control of the plane, causing it to land in a field rather than an unknown destination. The mass casualties from each plane was the largest in U.S. history. According to Global Issues War on Terror, when the plane's turned missiles landed into the World Trade Center towers and damaged the Pentagon, the United States declared a war on terror. The war on terror was first used on September 20th, 2001 by then President George W. Bush. Since September 11, 2001 was a traumatic event for all Americans, it is important that we investigate first who launched the attacks, second, why the attacks occurred, and finally, what the United States is currently doing to prevent future attacks from occurring. First, we're going to ask who launched the attacks. The attacks were launched by Al-Qaeda. According to PBS.org, Al-Qaeda is an Islamist militant extremist group founded by Osama bin Laden in 1988 in Peshawar, Afghanistan. Tactics of Al-Qaeda include suicide bombers or simultaneous bombings of different targets. Members of the movement have taken pledge of loyalty to their God and to their members. Secondly, we are going to ask, why did the terror attacks occur? According to Ron Paul at iReport.cnn.com, the reasoning behind 9/11 was American intervention in the Middle East. Al-Qaeda wants to drive out Americans from Muslim lands. Others also believe that specific reasons behind 9/11 are American support for attacking Muslims in Somalia, supporting Russia with cruel acts against Muslims in Chechnya, supporting the Indian oppression against Muslims in Kashmir, the Jewish aggression against Muslims in Lebanon, the presence of U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia, United States support of Israel, and sanctions against Iraq. Last but not least, we're going to ask what the United States is doing to prevent future attacks. According to DHS.gov, the Department of Homeland Security has been put in place to prevent terror attacks from occurring within the United States, reduce the risk of the United States to terrorism, and to minimize damage from attacks that do occur. According to TSA.gov, the United States has increased security measures throughout the United States. With increased security at airports, this decreases the amount of contraband from entering planes. Also, U.S. Air Marshals on board flights. U.S. Air Marshals are undercover agents on board most flights within the United States. They are in place to keep order on flights, usually armed, and can and will retake order of the plane in case of any hijacking. Security has also been heightened at seaports to prevent terror attacks at seaports. Security measures have also increased to minimize the amount of contraband, drugs, or weapons from entering the United States. According to NSA.gov, video surveillance and monitoring has become a huge impact on prevention of terrorism. If it can't be prevented, the determination of who participated can be huge. In most recent terror attacks in the United States, the Boston bombing couldn't be prevented, but the determination of who it was quickly released to the public. In conclusion, you have learned who launched the attacks on the United States on September 11th, why the attacks occurred, and what the United States is doing to prevent future attacks from occurring. Thank you for allowing me to conduct my informative speech, and truly hope you enjoyed learning a thing or two about the terror that occurred on that September.